Here we are at Clothesline, the show where we scrub them clean, string them up and put them to dry on the clothesline. This week, the world of the Indian news media was forced to look inward rather than outward. Editor-in-chief of Tehelka magazine and owner of Think Fest in Goa was charged with rape. The story broke online on the night of 20th of November when internal Tehelka emails were leaked into the public domain. Indian journalism was caught in a dilemma. How do you report on your own colleague? How do you comment or judge anyone who you would consider your friend? You have the choice of hiding and hoping no one will ask you for a comment, or do you put your natural loyalty aside and respond as you would if he was not a fellow journalist? We in the media were put to the test. How did we measure up? Pretty darn good. And before we get into the specific clips, I'd like to say that when our anchors and journalists come from a place of conviction, they can do a really good job of interviews and discussions. Nidhi Razdan did an outstanding job interviewing Shoma Chowdhury. Watch Nidhi go.
Why shouldn't Tarun Tejpal step down, resign? Forget recusing himself. It's not his choice. Why shouldn't he resign over this? It sounds a little bit like you were shocked more with the fact that all of this leaked out and that all of this would have in a sense been covered up if it hadn't got onto social media and Twitter that night. It doesn't really look like an unconditional apology, A, and B, as the criticism has been, that he's not someone who can decide his own punishment. This was far more serious, and stepping aside for 6 months at your own convenience, it just doesn't cut it. Is it for financial considerations? For the future of the company that you decided that Tarun shouldn't go, that he shouldn't step down completely, he shouldn't resign?
No, Nidhi,
you understand why it is being seen as a hypocritical action. I mean, who is Mr. Tejpal to decide that he will decide his own punishment?
Nidhi, you don't have to pounce on me before I can speak, because then I can't speak.
Shoma, this is not pouncing. This is questioning. Rajdeep Sardesai did a superb interview with a very hostile Shoma. How hostile? Have a look.
Rajdeep, is this your interview or mine? Do let me finish speaking. Rajdeep, you'll have to give me some time to respond. Please hear me out, Rajdeep, because you've asked me a long question. I'm telling you, your questions are longer than my answers. And Rajdeep, I'm not sure what you really are asking anymore, because I think you're a bit confused. Rajdeep, did you hear me? I don't know if you're listening to me through this interview. Just get a little clear about what I'm saying. Do listen to what I'm saying, because I'll be repeating myself. Rajdeep, I'm not saying that. As I'm saying, maybe I should start speaking in Spanish. It may become a bit clearer. Are you a journalist?
That he's a victim?
Rajdeep, are you a journalist?
But Shoma, are you? Rajdeep Sardesai in his show demanded the same standards be applied to ourselves, that is journalists and editors.
Would we allow an Asaram Bapu, you say, in a case to simply say, I'm going away from the ashram for 6 months? We set the same rules that we set for others, particularly since we are editors and give speeches to the world. We have to necessarily then set a bar slightly higher for ourselves.
Barkha demonstrated in her show on this issue that when she wants, Barkha can conduct a truly sensible debate, head and shoulders above anybody else on television. Still, I wish television news would take other subjects and scrutinize them in the way they have done this more often. But if there was one man who single-handedly compensated for all the good journalism on this issue with, yes, noise, it was Arnab Goswami. Arnab, you're right. Times now makes a bigger impact than all the other channels put together. But sometimes it's not the kind of impact you'd like to boast about.
There are only two possibilities. Vinod Mehta, let me get you in. There are two possibilities. Either they did not know the law, or that they knew the law but chose to disregard it.
In the court of Judge Arnab, it's either one or the other. There is no room for a third opinion, and definitely no room for anyone to read out an SMS on his show.
Can I just read out an SMS he sent me today?
1 minute. Vinod Mehta. Vinod Mehta.
You want one?
No, watch. I got the drift of what you're saying, but I'll hold you there. No, I hold you there. I'd hold you there because, Vinod Mehta, with respect to you, if someone is there as an accused of alleged rape, and if that message which you are sending out is going to amount to character assassination of the victim, with utmost respect to you, Vinod Mehta, I'm not going to allow it.
Vinod, didn't you know there's only one person who's allowed to read out SMSs on Arnab's show?
And he says the tender was not approved, etc., etc., whatever. He's sending me a series of SMSs, so he's watching the News Hour right now.
Arnab, hypocrisy, double standards on the News Hour?
You know, double standards and hypocrisy is something that I don't accept.
Okay, if you say so. But Arnab, you didn't give Vinod Mehta a chance to make his point even once. Why call him on the show?
Bachi to come in. Vinod Mehta, 1 minute. Bachi. Bachi, 1 second, Vinod Mehta. Bachi wants to say something here.
Can I just...
1 second. Bachi, please.
Can I just finish?
Let Bachi come in, Vinod Mehta.
Can I just finish?
No, 1 second. The question is this, till yesterday. Why am I stopping Vinod Mehta? Vinod Mehta, the straight rebut to what you have said is this. And let's get Chandan Mitra and Abbas Singh also, and then I'll come back to you. Let's do a first round. The point is, 1 minute.
Arnab, one line. I just want to speak one line.
I'm going to stop you from reading that SMS there.
Reminding you, why go to trial when there's Judge Arnab?
I am the law. I never broke the law. I am the law.
It was not just Arnab who went overboard. The Indian Express too decided to take Tejpal and put every natka jhatka of his on the front page. Even business deals that have nothing to do with this case were brought out. For what? In fact, the Tarun Tejpal case gave an opportunity to all sorts of altu-faltus to appear on TV, including talking about this, talking about journalists in our journalist community, friends from many, many years is like talking against my family. Also, inse miliye, Rajyashree Sen of News Laundry.
Within 4 hours, you had very, very intimate details from her letter to her friends and to Shoma being leaked with quote unquote. These are things which, these were details which were not required for public knowledge.
Rajyashree, you would have gotten a raise if we could afford it for keeping a straight face the whole time. But in the case of the Aam Aadmi Party Naxalite Sekri from News Laundry, he wasn't called in to say anything, and even a channel like NewsX was so embarrassed putting him on television that they blurred him out. Ha!
Why should the Tehelka, which has set high standards for integrity and ethics for others, set such a low benchmark for itself? The magazine's management did not report the sexual assault to magazine's internal panel. It was only after intense media and political pressure that a panel was formed.
NewsX bhashan on morality and ethics of journalists and journalism would have had the desired impact on us had we not been distracted by News Laundry footage that was downloaded and played on their channel all day. Arey bhai, why did you have to blur out the News Laundry name? If you're so embarrassed of us, don't use our footage. And a special mention on this to Z News, who also used our footage all day, and also ABP News, who mailed us with requests to use the footage, to which we sent them a mail telling them the terms of usage, which is payment, which they did not understand, because they went ahead and aired it without a confirmation or payment.
मधु, ये वही तुम हो और ये वही न्यूज़ वाले हैं। तुम लोगों ने एक साथ ये न्यूज़ का हुआ शुरू किया था। अब देखो वो कहाँ पहुँच गए और तुम कहाँ रह गए। उनके पास चैनल है, रेवेन्यू है, हज़ारों एम्प्लॉइज़ हैं, तुम्हारे पास ये सब चीथड़े हैं। उनके पास एडवर्टाइजर्स हैं, मिस्टीरियस ओनर्स हैं जिनका किसी को पता ही नहीं। तुम्हारे पास क्या है?
हमारे पास फुटेज है,
लेकिन वो भी चुरा के ले गए। अरे कंगालों से भी कोई चुराता है?
न्यूज़ वाले चुराते हैं। Other than the News Laundry crew who got airtime, so did they, no matter how bizarre their points were.
I always found Tarun as a very courageous, forthright, the kind of person I would respect. Why did she go into the lift with him?
The media is yelling rape. There was never rape, not by the girl herself or by anybody.
Don't destroy a great magazine.
Oh, please,
just
again,
because these two people have. You're saying again.
The problem I have with that entire line of argument.
That he, if this happened, it is very, very wrong, and I'm sorry that it has happened, because he is a living example of exposés, of being principled, doing sting operations.
The other contribution that the Tehelka episode made was to our vocabulary. We were introduced to new usages such as adamantine, atonement, lacerates, causality, tonality, factuality. But hey, what we missed was morality. The Tehelka Tarun Tejpal story is unfolding even as we record this, with yet another email being leaked. This is turning into a battle of leaked emails. The night this entire episode broke on Twitter, Jonathan Shannon, formerly at Caravan magazine, now at the New Yorker, asked, in quotes, "Can the Indian media cover itself? A pretty huge test just arrived today," close quote. What say you now, Jonathan? This was a watershed moment where the news media did not spare one of its own. But economic offences or corrupt practices involving media organisations remain buried and unreported. When we can report on those with similar enthusiasm, then the media would have come of age. But for now, the media spends more time playing victim, even the most unlikely of candidates. This week, Arnab asked, in quotes, "Has the media been unfairly targeted?" Close quotes. He asked this in the context of the murder of a 14-year-old child and the conviction of her parents for the murder. But for Arnab, the biggest victim in this backdrop was the media.
The Talwars and all their supporters are blaming the media tonight. They are saying that the media is responsible for this particular verdict. In other words, they are trying to say that the court has gone by what the media is saying. I'd like to just say, before I introduce everyone on the News Hour tonight, is that with respect to those arguments, the media is not manufacturing questions. The media is not manufacturing facts. They are basing them on the basis of the CBI's report.
Yes, Arnab, but is it not our job to scrutinize and check for inconsistencies in the CBI's handouts to us, especially since different reports from two different teams from the CBI presented different facts, and also journalists presented new facts which most people completely ignored. The ticker even read, "Media scrutiny equals media trial?" ? And Arnab was out to prove that this wasn't the case at all. Ironically, for someone claiming there wasn't a trial by media, Arnab was only interested in his panelists' verdict on the case.
Avinuk, who do you blame for the verdict? What is your view on the verdict? When were the servants held guilty? Tell me the date. How many weeks and how many days, in your view, did the CBI take to come to this conclusion? Do you believe that there was a possibility that the CBI in the first case in 2008 was rushing to the facts?
When it is clear to him that a panelist disagrees with his view, the panelist is abruptly cut off from saying any more, and Arnab's focus shifts.
The question was very simple, to put it very brutally, honestly to you, that in July 2008, when the entire blame was put on the domestic servants, that section of society, which obviously the reference here is to the, to certain sections of society in urban centers which feel sympathy and feel that these kind of crimes don't happen.
Okay.
In certain populations or demographics, that section of society, Shobha, I don't think was out there fighting for the domestic servants when this case was decided against them in July 2008.
Arnab,
no, I just get Shobha there to respond to you, and then...
Arnab's questions appear to be rhetorical. It's just a question to be followed not by an answer, but by his own speech. So while on other shows we have panelists, on Arnab's show we have props. Arnab then shines the starlight on Shobha Day, who established what she is not.
Now, I'm not a detective, I'm not a cop, I'm not a lawyer.
But that doesn't stop her from playing all three, and also psychologist and judge for good measure.
I said from all evidence available at that time and from the way the Talwars presented themselves in the public domain, on television, through their various statements in the press, it appeared that they were completely cold and remorseless the very next morning, and everything suggested that it just seemed incredible that any mother, any father, if they found their daughter brutally murdered in her own bed, would be emotionally distraught, unless they are exceptional people who have such control over their emotions.
Our superhero Arnab has finally found his sidekick, except Robin's prettier.
Exactly, sir. It's not whether Arnab is capable, incapable, has decided the truth, is incisive or not. He is not the court. The court has decided.
Precisely.
So, where is the question of one individual or many individuals in media, outside media, arguing about this when the verdict has been given?
Good point, Shobha. So why are you on this panel questioning panelists doing exactly what you are doing? Also, Arnab, since you asked the question that if this conviction proves that the media has been unfairly targeted, would a reversal of this judgment in a higher court prove the opposite? Would you then have a panel discussing whether the media was rightly targeted?
Now, verdicts have been overturned in the past. If this one gets overturned, will we be having another debate on why the media wasn't vindicated on this show?
While the seriousness of the subjects that occupied airtime and covered front pages brought out the best in some, they also brought out the worst in others.
Sir, at this moment, what would you like to say to this verdict? It must be really difficult for your family. I mean, for your daughter to be she's guilty of killing her own daughter. That now it's been proved that the parents were behind this. I mean, this makes, obviously it's a difficult time for you, but you must trust the court. What is the situation that your family is in now, considering your granddaughter is not there, your daughter's been pronounced guilty?
मैं आरुषि तलवार, राजेश तलवार मेरे पापा और मम्मी नुपुर तलवार। आखिर आरुषि को कोई क्यों मारना चाहता था? आज आरुषि यानी मुझसे सुनिए मेरी पूरी कहानी। ये वीडियो देखिए, ये गवाह है मेरे हंसते खेलते परिवार का। 15 मई 2008, यही तो वो तारीख थी जिस दिन मेरे मम्मी पापा पर मुसीबतों का पहाड़ टूटा।
If it wasn't bad enough that some people revealed names of victims on social media, you had journalists spelling out the lurid details of the alleged sexual assault on air. Hell, even Bhupinder Chaube was shocked. The judgment issued on the Talwar case by a special CBI court in Ghaziabad is an education in old as in O-L-D-E, old English. I'll read some extracts. The cynosure of judicial determination is the fluctuating fortunes of the dentist couple, who have been arraigned for committing and secreting as also deracinating the evidence of commission of the murder of their own adolescent daughter. A Butte damsel and sole heiress, Ms. Arushi, and hapless domestic aide, Hemraj, who had migrated to India from Nepal to eke out living and attended routinely to the chores of domestic drudgery at the house of their masters. He also admitted that Hemraj was average built, but he has no knowledge as to whether his willy was turgid. I swear I did not make that up. That is not part of our script. I have just read from the actual judgment. One judgment that was carried out on Judge Arnab's show was on a supposed sting against the Aam Aadmi Party.
Sure, please ask as many questions. Let me tell you the story, because it's important that I give my version out at this point. So this person keeps on calling me. I'm at Bikaji Kama place getting my affidavit notarized. This lady comes over. She's been sitting in my office for 2 hours, I'm told. She insists. A volunteer brings her from my office to Bikaji Kama place. I meet her at the only place I know, Nirula's, which is the place you see.
While every channel ran a discussion or debate or trial on the sting, it appears none of them took the time to watch it, because if they had, they would have done a story on how random footage shot by a hidden camera can be distorted and misused.
We don't have legal documents, but we want to do something. Then, because we can't do something like that. I've been in television for so long, कुछ concrete होगा ना, झूठ नहीं बोलेंगे, will not lie.
शुरू से रखा हुआ वो तो मतलब कुछ नहीं था, आप समझो कि मतलब साल का 5-6 लाख का टर्नओवर था, उस समय भी प्रॉपर अकाउंटेंट बुला के करवाते थे कि यार इसमें कोई वो नहीं है.
And there's another case of the media running into the street yelling thief, thief without checking the goods. This was the feminist bandwagon that everyone hopped on at the expense of the CBI director Ranjit Sinha.
What's the harm if we can have, if we legalize betting? And above all, do we have the enforcement agencies? Do we have the enforcement? It is very easy to say that if you can't enforce it, it is like if you can't prevent rape, you enjoy it. So it's better to have something to legalize it and then earn some revenue.
The media took apart the CBI director. We assure you, News Laundry is not a fan of the CBI. But it's clear how his remark was actually taken out of context. He gave an opinion that the logic that betting be legalized if the law can't be enforced is as erroneous as saying that if rape is inevitable, one should lie back and enjoy it. He was not endorsing that view, but actually rejecting it. What he's saying is that to accept something because you can't prevent it is wrong. But this is the power of the media. He had to apologize for the media misunderstanding and not getting what he said.
I regret any hurt caused, as the same was inadvertent and unintended. I reiterate my deep sense of regard and respect for women and commitment to gender issues.
From misleading quotes to misleading headlines. This is the headline of an article on CNN IBN's website. BJP is a party of thieves, admits Narendra Modi, close quote. When you read the rest of the article, you realize Narendra Modi is being cute and clever by acknowledging the Congress party's accusations that the BJP are thieves because they steal the Congress workers' sleep. IBN, if you still don't understand, that means the Congress people are so stressed at Modi's ascent that they cannot sleep. They are losing sleep. If IBN had their way, these are the kind of headlines they would have.
चोरी चोरी दिल तेरा चुराएंगे चुरा के दिल मेरा गोरियां चली चुरा लिया है तुमने जो दिल को
Finally, news media as the great rehabilitators. What prisons, counselors and rehab centers around the world can't do, the news media can. Here's what the magic rehab wand has pulled off recently.
What's your perspective? Is it because of the media or the Talwars have been convicted? I'm going to ask a question to myself. I view it as a win-win for India, for Indian democracy.
Don't forget to subscribe, because if news channels that have money keep stealing footage from us who have no money, then someone needs to pay. Please subscribe to this month's newsletter and support News Laundry. That's a wrap for the week. If you have any moments from journalism that made you go, oh wow or oh crap, write into us or tweet to us. We are the change. You are the change, for better or worse. Never do nothing. Stay connected. Stay online.